Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the iZUMi Pro road cycling shoes. iZUMi is well known for their cycling apparel lineup that offers everything from new cyclists to professional cyclists something to wear on the ride. Their Pro lineup not only includes cycling kits, but they also have the Pro Road carbon cycling shoes, which are positioned as their mid-tier shoe option. These have been part of the lineup since 2023, but they've been recently updated with the new Iridescent Navy color that we have here. Packaging wise, you can see you just have the iZUMi branding on a cardboard box in this bright yellow and black color. And then you can see the version we have here with the color and the size. I'll go ahead and open this up and we'll go over the specs. Retail price on this is $260. You have a perforated synthetic upper material with sizing ranging from 39 all the way up to 49, so tons of options here. They have a dual BOA L6C style dial. And then the BOA TX4 lacing. So it's a nice soft lacing versus a hard cable. These also feature iZUMi's 1-to-1 Pro Carbon plate, which not only has tons of ventilation, but is also very stiff exactly where it needs to be stiff. You also have their dual density 1-to-1 footbed, which is an insole for additional comfort and a nice anatomical shape. As far as what comes with them, you can see you get these shoes with some padding, a little BOA dial here, and that's about it. There's also a little safety pamphlet that you always get with shoes that has a little bit more information on it. Now let's take a look at the weight of these shoes. These are the Euro 44.5. So the left shoe comes in at 287, and then the right shoe, that's slightly different at 289. The Pro road cycling shoes are iZUMi's mid-tier cycling shoes that slot between their top-of-the-line Pro Air and then their more budget-friendly Attack road cycling shoes. As such, these shoes have a dual BOA dial system, carbon fiber sole, but still relatively affordable. iZUMi offers the men variation of these shoes in 3 different colors, black, white, and this new iridescent navy that we have here. The women's version gets 3 unique colors. They have an iridescent white, a dark green, and then as well as a nightshade color. So you can see with this color scheme, it's very cool. It actually shifts depending on which angle you look at it. It's either green or purple. And it almost has a matte finish, so not super shiny. But if you look at it, you can see the color just shifts. So very cool design. And you also have a matte black centerpiece, which is your accent color, that extends on the entire front section and along the heel area. Branding on here is limited just iZUMi on the back side and the iZUMi logo on the tongue. You can see the upper material is a synthetic leather, super flexible, so you can see it almost lays flat like a knitted shoe. Essentially one piece with a little stitch mark on the back where they connect. It's a more traditional design though. You can see the outsole and the upper part are separate pieces, and unfortunately you can actually see the glue here. And that's the case even with their $500 Pro Air. So not quite as clean as a fit and finish as you'd expect. And you don't typically see this in the Shimano shoes at similar price points. As far as the closure system, dual BOA dials. And the big downgrade here is these are not the Li2. They are the L6C. And that means you can do micro tightening. So you have the ratcheting effect. But then if you want to loosen it, you can't rotate it the other direction. You have to pull up and do the full tension release. Then you can go back and do micro tightening to get it right. So less convenient when you want to do a quick adjustment, especially when you want to loosen it, but you do get the micro tightening. The laces here are also a nice fabric finish, so it's their TX4. So you can see it's almost a fabric rather than being a hard plastic. Soft fabric guides along the edges, so it's designed to really eliminate any pressure points. You can adjust the fit on the ankle with the top one, and then 2 rows on the bottom to adjust the toe area. And you can see these have a nice Shimano-like wide design. So definitely more anatomic rather than being thin. And you can see that extends to the outsole as well. The outsole is probably the coolest feature here. You can see it's full carbon fiber with tons of cutouts here. Probably one of the most ventilated outsoles I've seen or reviewed. So you can see you have these mesh panels covering up the ventilation holes. And most of it essentially just cut out, which is really impressive. You can see that it is carbon fiber, but there is really no exposed weave. It's just a flat black. And it's probably a good thing because you don't have much of a bumper either. So you can see the heel and toe bumpers are very thin. So these will definitely get scratched up as you walk on them, as there's not a lot of protection. It's a standard 3-bolt setup, so you can put SPD-SL or Lokio. A nice little adjustment indicator, so you have the marks on the front, back, and side, with fore and aft adjustment for each bolt so you can get the fit just right. But the ventilation here is probably the coolest thing, so definitely nice, large, and open. And you have these interesting little divots here as well. If we open up the shoe, you have their outsole. So a nice premium feeling foam construction. You have this bright yellow pearl iZUMi branding on it. And you can see quite thick foam. The edges here are kind of tapered up, so more comfort. And then you can see the perforation holes that match the holes in the actual shoe. It almost looks like the arch support is replaceable, but it's just a little relief line that helps us flex around that area. On the inside, you can see tons of ventilation, obviously, and that matches all the holes. So tons of vents here, and if I light this up, you can actually see that front vent, the middle vent, and the bottom vent all have corresponding holes. So there's definitely not a shoe you want to wear in the winter or in rainy conditions, as you need a full outsole to really cover this all up. Otherwise, wind and water will definitely get through. And then you have all the perforations on the front, which are a little bit less visible with the light, but they're all there. Here you can see the shoes in action. We actually paired that with our Specialized Tarmac, which actually has a chameleon finish that goes from blue to purple, while these shoes have a purple to green finish that you see with some Trek bikes. So really cool finish, and really has this nice color shifting effect that you see on the road. It also has an interesting matte overlay on it, so it's not super shiny. So you really have to look at it closely to see the color shift, and then you have the matte black finish on the center portion. But overall, shoes are really comfortable. The fit, we actually went a little bit larger. We went 44.5 versus 44 on Shimano. And in hindsight, we probably would have gone back to 44. According to the online calculator, it says it fits a little bit small. But to us, the toe box felt nice and big. And if anything, we probably just get the same size as Shimano. So sizing wise, we probably just assume it's closer to Shimano and Bont. Again, wide toe box are really comfortable. And despite all the holes in the outsole for the venting, it's actually quite stiff and comfortable. You don't have a lot of arch support, so you probably want an insole. But otherwise, you have stiff support and it's great for sprinting. The BOA dials don't have micro loosening, but they do have the micro tightening, which is really easy to adjust and adjust the fit while you're riding. And there's tons of ventilation on this shoe, so if you're riding cold weather or wet weather, this is not the shoe to wear. You definitely get cold feet pretty quickly, which is great for summer riding or long climbs. It's a pretty impressive shoe given the price point, and it's a cool iridescent finish that helps it set it apart from the competition. Now let's compare the Pearl iZUMi shoes with other shoes on the market. As you can see here, we've done quite a few shoe reviews, so we have a lot of the Shimano lineup, some DMT shoes, Bont Vapor, or the Bont Riot, and then the other Shimano shoe, the RC3. So you can see a big difference between more budget shoes like this one, which is more like $125, compared to the $200 Pearl iZUMi, is the fact that you get dual BOA dials. This one is a single dial setup, so harder to adjust, and you get 3 rows instead of the 2 row, and you also get carbon fiber outsole versus the nylon on here, which is a lot softer. So if you're doing any kind of more high effort sprints or climbing, I definitely recommend going carbon. Paying that extra as a nylon is very flexible, but more comfortable on a trainer. Compared to other Shimano shoes, we have the RC7, which is similarly priced. This one also has a almost iridescent finish. It's kind of a metallic finish, not quite color shifting, but you can see definitely nice and shiny. Dual BOA dials, just a different model. But with this one, you also don't get micro loosening, it's just micro tightening. Very similar wraparound design. But with this one, it's a little bit more extreme with the Shimano design. So you can see the upper really is a one-piece design where the front wraps underneath the other one. And that's why they really call it a wraparound design. While something like the Pearl iZUMi is more traditional with a tongue, and then the one-piece upper that pulls together, and a separate tongue piece. This one is a little bit easier to take on and put on compared to the Shimano, as it's a little bit more restrictive. But the nice thing about Shimano is you can see the fin to finish is nicer, so you don't really have any exposed glue. So cleaner edges, where this one you do have the exposed glue on the edges between the outsole. And this one is much more of a integrated outsole. So you can see carbon fiber outsole, but it's really hidden, where this one really feels like a separate plate. attached to the upper material. So a little bit different methodology. Shimano also has much more expensive shoes, like the S-PHYRE Power, and this has this cool crystal finish. So it really shines, and it's slightly iridescent white on the main portion. And then they have their RC9 S-PHYRE, and you can see this one is a lot shinier. So it really stands out, and this one goes blue to purple, where the Pro iZUMi is a little bit more muted and goes green to purple. So a little bit different design, and again, this one is glossy while the Pro iZUMi is more of a matte finish, so it doesn't stand out quite as much. And even though this is not a knit finish, you can see like something like the DMT shoes, fully knitted, so really soft. And similar to this with the synthetic upper, so it's pretty impressive how far along these type of shoes have come along. And then the nice thing about the Pro iZUMi ones, you have that wide kind of anatomical shaping that's similar to Shimano. Not quite as wide as these wide variations of the Bont Riot, and this cool shiny gold finish. So you can see how wide this is all the way through. But the nice thing about the Pro iZUMi is you do get a more anatomical shape than your traditional shoes that are very narrow. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Pro iZUMi Pro Road Shoe. What we like about it is you have dual BOA dials, so you can adjust each zone separately. Also, the new eye-catching iridescent color is really attractive. It has a nice subtle purple to green color switch, which is really nice to see here. It's also highly ventilated for warm weather riding. The insole is mostly mesh, which is pretty impressive given the stiffness of it. The main negatives of the shoe is the fact they have very thin heel and toe pads, which means the insole or the outsole is going to definitely get damaged if you walk on it, as there's not much protection. Also, there's visible glue between the upper and outsole, which is unfortunate. You even see that on their higher end Pro Air, which is surprising and something you don't typically see with Shimano or other brands. Taking everything into account, we'd give these shoes an 8.8 out of 10. It's a nice stiff shoes with a unique finish. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.